Tonight, new evidence that the federal government has ignored a threat to the integrity of our elections. A group of Venezuelan businessmen have bought an American company that supplies electronic voting machines and counts the votes. But your government didn't even review the sale.
A voting machine company, critical to this country's election count, and they can't tell you whether or not the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States reviewed it or not?
They have no answer for us, and
These are the most arrogant, incompetent, bureaucratic idiots.
You already ran in 2020 elections, and you were one of those voices that claim for election integrity.
Yes, I ran. It's true. And you know what? I didn't concede it. He was pissed. He was very upset because I saw what was happening during that election period.
2020 Congressional Candidate, 4th Congressional District, ladies and gentlemen, Johsie Cruz.
I did not concede to the result of this election.
Yes.
I am still waiting for the result of my district.
Yes.
Sir, we are here because I wanted to tell you about the Smartmatic, which everybody knows is Dominion software.
Yes.
The repetition of Venezuela elections fraud. It was the same pattern. When it comes to election integrity, we need to remember something important, which is a Smartmatic company.
Smartmatic, based in Boca Raton, provides voting machines in local elections in the United States, like this election in Chicago in March. But Smartmatic has only 5 to 7 people working in Boca Raton, Florida. Smartmatic is a labyrinth of international holding companies owned by Venezuelan businessmen. The Smartmatic and other voting machine companies are private companies. They have proprietary software they can call a trade secret. Electronic voting experts with extensive experience say it's nearly impossible to verify if a proprietary system is tamper-proof.
I remember the night of the election when I saw Fulton County stopping the counting for an hour. Everything was shut down and then come back again, and then the numbers were changed.
The U.S. company that makes the machines, Sequoia, was bought in 2005 by Smartmatic, a private company primarily owned by Venezuelan businessmen.
But let me tell you something. During live TV, my campaign manager saw the numbers change live. 30,000 votes were subtracted from my account.
I'm going to show you what you really missed. So here we go. Watch the gold. The update's coming. Boom, there it updates. And now here's this guy. Now let me show you what you missed.
The problem is the closed-door proprietary nature of the process. The closed system we have right now makes it extremely hard to find out what's going on. And that means that should a thief get in a position of power, we would never know.
Some voter watchdog groups and others in Congress are calling for a full review and say the ownership of all electronic voting companies should be reviewed to determine if it poses a risk to U.S. elections. The U.S. Treasury Department today would not confirm or deny if a so-called CFIUS review is underway on Smartmatic.
Recently, it has come to light that there may be some confusion regarding the ownership of Smartmatic, a company involved in elections technology. While some reports suggest that the Venezuelan businessmen, the company CEO Mujica and COO Roger Pineda are the owner, it is important to provide clarity on this matter. What many people may not realize is that the true decision maker and chairman of Smartmatic is George Mark Malloch Brown, also known as Lord Malloch Brown. He is a British diplomat who has held prominent positions, including serving as a Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations. Who is this man? The chairman of Smartmatic voting machine and software. This clarification is necessary to ensure that accurate information is available to the public regarding the ownership and leadership of Smartmatic. It is essential for transparency and understanding, particularly in matters as crucial as elections technology. Lord Malloch Brown, not your typical British agent, from 1993 to 1994, Malloch Brown was part of the Soros Advisory Committee on Bosnia, where advanced the Balkanization project of 1990s. In 1998, Malloch Brown also co-founded Soros International Crime Court, ICC, after the duo had created the International Crisis Group, ICG, in 1994. This institution served to 1. Shape international perceptions of the causes and solutions to crises, real or fabricated, and 2. advocates solutions that removes sovereignty in military and judicial affairs from sovereign nation states where they had been enshrined in the United Nations Charter, Nuremberg laws, and United Nations Declaration of Human Rights to supranational unelected organizations under the control of experts. As vice president of the World Bank from 1995 to 1999, he took credit for transforming its image to a more democratic organization, and from 1999 to 2005 tied United Nations funding to George Soros' Open Society's operations internationally. During this time in New York, Malloch Brown lived on an estate owned by Soros. I'm now serving as president of Open Society Foundation since 2021. A Smartmatic lie. Lord Mark Malloch Brown admitted to license agreement between Smartmatic and Dominion in 2015 interview.
You did unequivocally point out here that Smartmatic has never been a Venezuelan company, but correct me if I'm wrong, the chairman that had preceded you was a Venezuelan, and in fact, allegedly, Smartmatic had ties with the late former president of Venezuela, Hugo Chavez. How do you explain all of that?
Well, you know, I think the big word is allegedly. The former chairman, who is still CEO, so still very involved in the business, leads it in fact, you know, was a resident of Florida when these systems were designed.
Okay, the question on people's minds, why is Smartmatic even still here in the Philippines after reports that it had violated provisions of the election automated law? Number one, for example, that it was never supposed to be allowed to bid in the 2010 elections because it did not actually own the software. Dominion Voting Systems owned the software. Plus the difficulty which Smartmatic had to put the COMELEC through just in order to access the source code. Issues like that. Your thoughts? People say we should not be subjected to Smartmatic again this time around.
Well, look, I think that's competitors who say that. You know, the fact is, yes, part of our technology is licensed from Dominion, but you tell me a large technology company which isn't using, in part, licenses from other companies, and we have a license for the international use of that particular piece of the technology that we employ. But, you know, we are a manufacturing and technology R&D company. We have hundreds of people who are doing R&D and hundreds more involved in manufacturing. These are our systems, and you know, the fact is we are proud of the way we've transformed election performance in the Philippines.
So Mark, let me just cut in there and ask you, the license issued by Dominion for you to use their proprietary software, that is a live license, it's an active license. It has not been revoked. It has not been revoked.
U.S. corporations should have access to our election.
In the case of Smartmatic, there are a number of unanswered questions. That's why I wrote to the Secretary of the Treasury and asked them to review the ownership. It's offshore, it's murky, no one seems to know who owns it. Certainly our government should know.
It's amazing that instead of looking into possible problems during the 2020 election in Georgia, top officials have chosen to deny any issues right from the beginning. Now, there is no way for denying the evidence. Investigators and experts have made it clear that some cases need to be sent to the Attorney General due to possible fraud during the elections. The President Trump concerns were valid and based, and hearing in May 2024 before the State Election Board will reveal the truth.
We're in a situation where we have put together, and you guys did it for our the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
We're born with the freedom to choose our leaders, and tampering with election goes against this freedom and the will of God. It's a crime against the people. Even a well-known anchor at Fox Business was fired for speaking out against these irregularities.
I am Johsie Cruz Fletcher, and I approve this message.